pushy at good times. Pushy at good times. It's good to be pushy when it means getting to watch StarCraft 2, in my opinion anyway. And down the bottom right, in purple, is our Infinity 7 Zerg player, the last hope for Infinity 7. In the winner's bracket right now, it is CrazymoviNG. And in the upper left, in the red, representing Evil Geniuses, it is IGNProLeague.
That's right. So using a lot of their Arizona-based EG players in this match. In fact, it has been 3 of them in a row. So we'll see, what's going to happen after this. If CrazymoviNG wins another game, of course, I don't want to say they're going to be forced, but you got to think that they're going to start reaching into their big guns of the Korean players. Possibly, you may even see the debut of Thorzane. But as it stands now, IGNProLeague is a guy who in Team Arena Challenge 2 actually came out and won some pretty darn good games against some pretty great players. PVTs with big Colossus pushes, PVPs as well. So certainly no stranger to these team situations and has performed very well in them.
Yeah, for sure. So the question is, what is IGNProLeague going to do? I mean, we can't assume, but we can make a pretty good educated guess that CrazymoviNG is going to go for that 3-hatch, no-gas opening. This isn't a bad map for it at all. It's pretty good. But I'm curious to see what IGNProLeague has in mind to stop what CrazymoviNG is going to do. How is he going to play this? Is he going to go for some sort of 2-base timing, or is he more likely probably going to go for something a little bit later game? Protoss players, I've talked to Axlive actually a lot about this, aren't big fans of the 2-base timings on this map just because it takes so long to get across. The Zerg has plenty of time to prepare. So this is a good map for PvZ late game, right? And you can go ahead and let the Zerg player take your 3rd base, and you can let them try to attack you because you can defend it.
Very much so. And much like in Tomb Valley, as we were kind of mentioning before, this is a very, very good map. It's an interesting spot for this pylon, by the way. I just want to mention, usually you'll see them wall this off right here at the front. Some players even full walling. Of course, looks like IGNProLeague is going to drop down to the cannon. He's very fond of using those to deflect bases for as long as possible. Yeah. Will certainly increase the amount of Zerglings, excuse me, that's needed to take that out. But IGNProLeague, not walling off up here at the front. He is going to go ahead and, here, let's see. It looks like a bunch of units pulled off the line to deal with the photon cannon. That will certainly be worth the 37 minerals lost there to cancel that, yeah.
This is totally the right response, too, by CrazymoviNG. You can't let that cannon finish. If you do, you're going to be so incredibly far behind. Even if you get a drone out to take your 3rd right away, it's still going to be a huge hassle to make the Zerglings that you need to take out the cannon. That's pretty popular on the NA server right now as well, to just kind of put cannons up to the natural. A lot of players will even just kind of leave them there. But IGNProLeague, canceling right at the very end, the drones would have killed it. I believe it is, if you want to get down to numbers, 3 drones can kill a morphing cannon and pylon if you get there quick enough. But if it's like about, a little over 1/3 of the way done, you're going to need 4.
Yeah.
So CrazymoviNG pulled, what, like 5 or 6 there? Well, so he was fine.
Yeah, and it was about halfway done, so that was the correct response, as he needed to kill it before it actually finished up. So, but like I said, IGNProLeague going for an interesting wall here. You'll see a lot of players usually full wall this off at the front, then they can knock down the destructible rocks and begin a little wall up to their 3rd nexus. It retains a very defensive position. IGNProLeague is going to continue to cannon this 3rd hatchery, though, but it looks like CrazymoviNG already going to be on top of that. That's going to get revealed, but it was certainly worth the effort there from IGNProLeague. So,
yeah.
But still, with that being said, IGNProLeague deciding to take the harder route here and walling this off quite a bit longer to get that done.
So annoying to get your 3rd base cannoned on any map, really, as Zerg.
Yeah.
Oh, man, you just feel so dumb. Not that this has ever happened to me, of course.
No, of course not.
I always scout well enough that this never happens to me, but I've been told. I've been told by other Zerg players that it's not a fun feeling. I've
had Zerg players very angrily tell me in games that they don't like having this done to them.
That's where I heard about that. It's never happened to me.
No, of course not.
No.
Of course not.
That'd be silly.
That'd be silly.
Yeah.
It does work pretty well, though.
So, moving on.
Yes. Wargate technology coming up. We do have +1 weapons on the way, so pretty predictable stuff out of IGNProLeague. It's about that time when you think you're going to see the 3rd and 4th gases, and thankfully that Overlord's not going to get killed by the photon cannon.
I thought he was shooting his Nexus for a second there. I'd be like, that would be the best fail I've ever seen in StarCraft 2. IGNProLeague killed his own Nexus with a cannon. But no, it was just an Overlord. Oh, well.
Sad. Oh yes, he's not self-destructing. Yes, darn.
Right.
Well,
Cannons just rebel.
Yeah.
It's Skynet. They're online. They're taking control of our photon cannons.
Something tells me Protoss has already gone through several Skynet scares. Like, they're advanced enough that they're good at dispatching with AI now.
It's like, oh, another conscious AI. All right, you want to deal with it? No, I did it last time.
Does it happen again? Call in Tassadar. We can get this taken care of.
You don't even need to bring in Tassadar. Any temp can take care of a Skynet type situation. The Protoss homeworld.
Well, we'll see here what CrazymoviN is going to follow this up with. IGNProLeague going for a fun variant. He is going to have the robotics facility first of all, along with 3 gateways afterwards. Can pump Immortals and Sentries. It's a very strong composition, and it is actually going to be 5 gates. So usually you'll see like 3 or 4, and then maybe break down the destructible rocks, go for a quick third.
Well,
but it is going to be a little bit higher unit production.
Okay, last Zergling decides to participate just in time. He was like, I'll only help if you need it. So do you think, now obviously we have a Warp Prism coming out here as well, but do you think that this is going to go into possibly an Immortal timing?
I don't know. I mean,
I feel like the Warp Prism is just going to be it this time around.
Well, with the +1 armor immediately being started afterwards, not an indication of higher tech, so it could very well be, but I don't know. I gotta think that he's more interested in just putting on pressure and going to his third still even yet. But I could be completely mistaken about that. Maybe he'll just hit a hardcore two-base strategy.
That poor Sentry.
Oh, and there we go. It is actually going to be a Twilight Council coming up after this.
Okay. Yeah. Go for that 2-2, possibly. And do a little bit of damage in the main. This is actually a great map for doing what IGNProLeague is doing, too. I mean, if you can get the Warp Prism in there, if you can force field the ramp, you can do a ton of damage. And on this map too, Zergs have a tendency to have their units out in the front too, looking for pylons, kind of being active around the map. So,
did he get spotted by that Zergling? I don't know if
he may have.
There's already Overlords that are floating out there just in case.
Yeah.
So
there's a Dark Shrine on the way, by the way, for IGNProLeague.
Aha! So that's what the
he does like his DTs
used for. Yes, he does. Oh, and yeah, it does look like CrazymoviN was able to spot this because this is going to be very dicey for IGNProLeague. Bringing in a couple of units now. They do have +1 attack, so he is going to be able to rip through the front line of units. But those roaches are certainly going to pose quite a bit of a problem. The Zealots are still strong, but it looks like all of those are going to survive. One roach getting very low in health, but no, they are all going to live. Very good control there from CrazymoviN.
Now. Yeah, that was interesting. I mean, he dropped in a place that wasn't quite the normal place that you would want to drop if you want to take out like the mineral line. He didn't drop in a place to do the ramp, so I'm kind of curious about that choice to drop there. But as it is, he didn't lose a whole lot. You know, he lost around his Zealots, but I think he kept his sentries alive for the most part. I think he maybe lost 1.
1 or 2, I think. Yeah,
no, he actually kept them all. Oh no, he did lose 2, but he managed to save 2 Zealots. So.
That is true. So picks a couple of those up. But yeah, we do have that Dark Shrine finishing up in just a few seconds. IGNProLeague also going ahead and clearing up the path to the third. Yeah. So that's, you know, with the exception of the Dark Shrine added in, it's pretty typical stuff from a Protoss player, but hitting quite a bit later than you would expect. I mean, this third base is coming up pretty late for him, not having put on a lot of pressure to his opponent. Now,
the question is, how will IGNProLeague use these kind of oddly timed Dark Templar? You know, will we see him run a few in to the other bases here? There's 2 DTs warping in right now. What sort of detection does CrazymoviNG have at the moment? He's making an Overseer, but
oh, man, that's actually a perfectly timed Overseer. There is another one up and floating somewhere, though I'm not sure where it's at. Actually, we're going to have a big attack coming in. Zerglings making their way up to the front. Good number of Roaches and Hydras as well. DTs making their way over to the third. Is there an Overseer there? Not quite yet. Those DTs are going to be very high DPS. A drop going into the main as well, but it looks like the Hydralisks and Queens are going to be able to clean this up pretty efficiently.
And here comes the attack from CrazymoviNG right now, getting right past the ramp. Oh, a lot of Zerglings getting in before they can be force fielded out, and the Roaches firing at things from the outside. I don't know. There are 4 Immortals there, too, though, so I don't know if the Roaches are going to be a huge problem.
All right, a lot of the Roaches aren't going down. This DT actually going to town has killed 11 workers. This one has done quite a bit of damage as well, so these Hydras certainly have to watch out. They will die pretty quickly, and IGNProLeague does stabilize, loses his cybernetic score up at the front, but has his robotics bay just finishing up while double producing Immortals.
Look at that. The Overseer gets there, well, not in time. more death does ensue at the natural expansion, but the Hydralisks are there, of course.
Right, so 19 workers killed for InControl, but of course he did lose 11 himself. So economy's pretty even between our two players, but InControl does have a third base up now. Pretty well defended with the photon cannons and the gateways up at the front, but it'll need a little bit more of a wall there.
Yeah, CrazymoviNG's definitely going to need to do some crazy teching to get out of this one, because Roachling is not going to work at all against what InControl has. He's got DTs, he's got Colossi on the way soon, it looks like, and he's got enough Immortals to handle basically pretty much any roach push CrazymoviNG would want to throw at him right now.
Right.
And CrazymoviNG's a smart player, so he's not going to go for any sort of roach all-in at this point. Yeah, putting down the Spire right there. He's going to try to play for the later game, and that's the right decision absolutely in this case.
All right.
But
well,
will he get there?
DT checking for the fourth, so scouting DTs are, I think, underused, and it's good to see InControl going after that. Looks like he does get caught, unfortunately, but of course, we'll maybe able to pick up even the fact that CrazymoviNG was moving out to take that next base. Look at how many Immortals are already on the field as well, mostly robotics units, just 6 Zealots and 5 Sentries for now, but of course the Stalker count starting to go up.
Yep. And if you look at the supply, too, InControl even a little bit ahead at this point. Now, CrazymoviNG obviously is saving up for Mutalisks, so we'll have to see how much that really changes in a moment. But InControl has a little bit of room to breathe a little bit. But I don't know. Here's the big question next. Is InControl going to be prepared for the Mutas? There's going to be like 15 of them.
Yes, there are. That is a pretty staggering amount of resources being saved up. So, and at the same time, CrazymoviNG is taking bases number 4 and 5. But of course, 3 bases is about all you need as a Protoss player at this stage, especially with the incredibly high damage army that's coming up. But as you mentioned, is he going to be ready for that? Because he doesn't have a lot of anti-air.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, he's making Colossi, and those aren't going to help him. 16 Mutas and +1 on the way.
God.
Oh, man. CrazymoviNG might be doing some crazy damage to InControl here soon.
Oh, I see what you did there.
I know. It's a funny thing.
You made a... Doa made a funny.
Stargate.
Yep.
On the way for InControl.
Necessary because, you know, I mean,
it's too
obviously...
late to make Phoenixes.
It's too late to make Phoenixes, but a few would certainly help. I mean, they do draw some pretty good fire, but, of course, it was intended for eventually into Fleet Beacon and then moving up into Mothership afterwards. Changelings are just tagging along behind.
Why not?
Might as well.
Too, if I were Changeling.
Man, CrazymoviNG makes a lot of Changelings. And that creep spread, once again, very good.
If he waits for his Mutas to get there and then attacks with everything, I think he should be able to beat InControl's army. Obviously, the Hydras and the Lings are going to die very quickly, but look at this. I think the Probes are going to die faster.
No kidding. Let's watch this workers kill just start to rocket up. A few units are being warped in now, but InControl has to bring everything back. Photon cannons do delay long enough, though, that the Mutas are a little bit pushed away. Now, finally, more Lings starting to stream in behind as well. CrazymoviNG really doing a nice thing here, just pulling InControl's army apart. He doesn't know where to go.
Yeah, and it looks like there's going to be more damage on. At least killing the cannons helps a lot, too. But this third is, well, he's actually, okay, yeah, he's flying the Mutas in. He's going to let the other units handle the third.
Yeah.
Just not enough anti-air for InControl.
No, unfortunately not. He is down. Well, he's actually on 69 workers, and he did kill a base, so he's going to continue to try push ahead here. A little bit of a kind of base trade. Again, though, not a lot of anti-air in the army that he actually brought back and had enough to actually dispatch of those. Unfortunately, he will lose this Nexus. These 3 Stalkers are not going to be enough to take this out. Yeah, the Colossi could fall, and the Nexus does go down.
Yeah, those Colossi being very brave there, to say the least.
Yeah, and it looks like the remnants of this army that InControl sent down to the bottom of the map are going to die. The Changelings are overseeing the destruction.
My Colossi. Here they are.
Yeah.
Another run by in the third base of InControl. More Zerglings streaming in here with the Colossi. Should be safe, but the Nexus goes down.
Wow. No mining whatsoever now for InControl. And he was only able to pick off 1 base. That means CrazymoviNG is going to be comfortably on 4.
Yeah, that's going to be pretty rough to come back from. That's a long way to mine, and you know what? That Nexus is probably going to die too. InControl actually just going for the counterattack. It looks like he's going to try to base trade this.
Right, but there are so many Mutas out on the map. 32 of them, as a matter of fact, that the meager amount of anti-air here will not be able to dispatch of it. And it looks like CrazymoviNG is on the edge of taking out his 2nd player in a row.
Oh, all the probes are coming as well with InControl, so he is going all in with this. He needs to win with this attack, or the game is going to be very over. He doesn't even have enough for another Nexus right now. He's about 24 minerals minerals short, about 23. Oh, man, I'm doing math, and I'm not good at it.
No, he's got enough for a Nexus if he can find a place to put it down, but not likely. The probes are running into buffer damage. The mutas are going to make their way back here in a bit. They're actually just kind of chilling.
Yep. And the probes did a pretty good job. I mean, those spines didn't do a lot of damage to InControl's actual army quite yet.
Right. We do have another 5 mutas, 7 mutas on the way is what I meant to say. Yeah. Lair Tech is going to fall here pretty quickly, but man, that's going to be 44 mutas when all is said and done. And unfortunately, just 7 Stalkers and 5 Sentries will not be able to clean those up.
Yeah, I don't think so. The anti-air is just not enough. Here come the mutas. That's a lot of mutalisks.
Yeah, no kidding.
And
wow.
Expect the GG, and he's second now from EG.iNcontroL. There it is.
GG.
And CrazyMovin. Wow, the comeback kid here. Take another win. Bring it to 4-3.
That's right. So what was, he needed to win, what, 4 games in a row initially.